Oh yeah.
All right, everybody get started. Cool.
DaChop team. I'm your host, Seth the Dark Child.
I'm your host, twinsinc.
Our show is about two guys and any friends that happen to come over with a topic that we want to chop up.
This is a part. So this is how it's going in.
Ladies and gentlemen, what you doing? Okay, here we go. Mic check, mic check. Set the Dark Child.
Yes, sir. I'm here.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the DaChop team. As you see, I'm here in the building with a guest, Quest Boogie.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. How you gentlemen doing today?
Yeah, so we got, he's gonna be proper today, This might be his first podcast, live show with us, period.
But I'm scared how he's gonna get after about a month or two of this.
I know, right? So, ladies and gentlemen, you see the topic we got going on today, and is, how about women proposing? Now, unless you've been living under the rock, there have been a lot of trends going on, or a lot of topic going on regarding women proposing to men, right? So, Seth, the Dark Child, brother, what are your thoughts on that, sir?
Well, I mean, just the initial thought is, I noticed it is happening a lot, and I just wanted to discuss with the fellas at the shop, at the barbershop. How do y'all feel? How would you feel about your girl stepping to the plate, getting down on one knee, and popping the question to you? How are you supposed to take that?
I'm gonna let Quest Boogie jump in first on this. How you feel about that, sir?
Before this topic came up, I never really gave it much thought. But as I think about it, me personally, I wouldn't have a problem with it.
Okay.
That's your final answer?
That's my final.
That's
answer.
you done. Your final answer.
That's my final answer.
All right, so I'm gonna answer. So, how do I feel about it? Yeah, ladies, don't do this. Don't do this unless you're really trying to take on our role as the lead, right? So, would I accept a woman proposing to me? The answer is going to be no, but because most men, we think like this. If a woman was to ask me that question, I'm going to say yeah at that moment just so I don't embarrass her in front of our friends and family, whatever there. Because that's what men do. We think about the things going on, and we'll say, sure, baby, I will. Like, and there's many videos you see out there when a guy got all the women out, everybody, family out, and proposed to the girl, and she says no, walks away from him in front of the whole world. Mm-hmm. So, that's another topic we're going to talk about, but men has a lot of issues. Not issues, but rejection is a big fear that we have when talking to new women. But that's another conversation we're going to talk about in a little bit. But as far as this topic here, once again, I would say yeah, just so she's not embarrassed. But behind closed doors, I said, nah, it ain't going this route. Here's how we're going to do it. I'm going to propose to you again, and we're going to do it the right way. And the reason why I say because if you're the woman and you want to take the lead and try to propose to a man, that's masculinity right there. So that's a prime example for women out there like, what is masculinity? What is it? That right there. You asking a man to marry you, that is very masculine. Point blank, period. I don't care how you chop it up. I don't care whether the dude wasn't ready or not. No. No romance is going to say yeah to that and actually go through the whole process. We say yeah, not to hurt your feelings. But once again, the reason why I'm saying no, because masculinity, number one. Number two, I don't want to be in a relationship with you and we get an argument because all people get in relationships. Everybody argue in a relationship. I don't want you to say that you weren't man enough to propose to me. Like, that's going to be her big joker card. That's her big bam. And right there, you got to sit there and eat it like, damn, she right. So I'm not man enough now because I didn't do the one thing I'm supposed to do, right? But on top of that, are you going to take all these bills, lady? Are you going to protect me? Because when you take that head role, take all these responsibilities that come with it, too. Because now I'm going to play the woman role that's laid back. You have the kids, but now I'm going to cook and clean, take care because you're the head of the house at the moment. I'll put a pin there for a moment. Seth or Dark Child, Seth, any questions to add to that?
Well, The way I thought about it was if she was to propose to me, I'm still gonna be the man. So the bills, the money, the trash, taking our trash, I'm still gonna step up to my position. But if you are going to get on one knee and propose to me, I need you to come with a prenuptial agreement already for me to sign that tells me you acknowledge the fact that if this relationship don't work, you ask for it and you're gonna walk away with what you got right now. So give me a prenuptial agreement that's in my favor, and I'm straight with you, Mary. Oh, and I don't want a prenuptial agreement already for me to sign that tell. Get some like voice echo.
Good, you good? That was me. You good?
But once again, I'm fine with that. But if you want it, I need a prenuptial agreement. If you file for divorce, you forfeit everything because you asked for it, you wanted this, you don't. All the laws are still in your favor. If I marry you, I'm still setting myself up for the same failure that I would have got had I got on one knee. Nah, boo, save that. You want to marry me? You're right. Just what you said. Take on the responsibilities of this relationship 100%. When you walk away, you agree to no child support. That ain't gonna happen, but you agree to it. You agree to no spousal support. You agree not to try to take my 401k. You walk away with what you came here. The same way I would walk away if we just broke up. Otherwise, nah, why bother? And you're right. That's way too much masculine energy if you're gonna get down on one knee. So you already got me looking at your sideways.
Facts.
Gotcha. Okay, I got something to add to that.
Mm-hmm.
So I like both of your perspectives. I definitely understand the whole masculine thing, but let me add something to that. Even though I understand and agree with that to a degree, I'm going to go back to, I guess both of you guys are familiar with Patrice O'Neal, right?
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, my favorite comedian, right? So, to me, the perfect relationship, I'm going to go back to that, is where she loves me and I strongly like her, right? Now, if she loves you and the ground you walk on, she may very well propose. More than likely, I'm not doing it again, right? So, if that's the case, I don't know, maybe you're in a position where you still call the shots, you really control it. Because normally when you think about it, a lot of times, and this is just my perspective, when it's almost as if the man is in control in the relationship until they get married, right?
Facts.
And then the power shifts.
Oh yeah, get that ring.
Right, because the woman, all she wants is, a lot of times, in some case, or in most cases, in my opinion, all she wants is the ring. Once she gets that, the power usually shifts.
Mm-hmm.
You can kind of flip that on its head a little bit when she proposes to you. You know what I mean? The power dynamic. I don't know.
Right.
Maybe it's a little different. That's just me shooting something in the air. But me personally, the reason I wouldn't mind. I've been there where I've proposed, and dude, the anxiety and the stress that goes into that, right? Is crazy. Me personally, I let them share some of that. I don't mind if you want some of that anxiety. At the end of the day, more than likely, if I'm proposing or if it's going down, we've had conversations before. Now, you do get some situations where the other person is not expecting it, and it comes out of thin air.
Okay.
And that's when you get these people getting embarrassed. But yeah, I still don't have a problem with it per se. I mean, as far as traditional gender roles, I get what you're saying, but hey, I'm all for it.
All right. So Seth, before you respond, what I want you to do is call my cell phone because they let me know that you're echoing when you talk.
Okay.
So I want you to call my cell phone and see how it goes to see if it's still the same. Okay.
All right. Listen, I'm gonna say one thing with the echo. I agree with you said. That was the purpose of the prenuptial agreement. You sacrifice all your legal advantages. Yeah, I'll accept your proposal. Otherwise, yeah, it's just air. All right, I'm hanging up now.
All right. Just call my phone. I'm gonna pick my answer.
Yes, sir.
Yep. Yeah, if that don't work, we'll try back the other way. But what you were saying, the power shift. I want to talk about that power shift.
It's real.
That power shift is real, and I'm gonna give it a second for that set the dark child to come in so you can hear it, because we gotta talk about that power shift. In the beginning stages, okay, hold on 1 second. All right, set the dark child. Hold on. All right, set the dark child. Can you hear me? Mic check. Oh, my bad.
Can you hear me?
Yep,
I don't hear the echo.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay.
All right. Now, hold on 1 second. I'm check with one person because someone's listening.
Yeah. Check with our producer.
Right. But Seth, so what we were saying also, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, it's a slacker, but it's not bad. All right, so you're good right now. So the one thing I want to talk about it was the power struggle. You know how not the power struggle, but the power shift once they get the ring. It's kind of like Thanos.
Did you want me to like frame it a little bit better?
Go ahead, yes, sir.
All right, so when I talk about the power shift in a relationship, usually when you get with a young woman or whatnot, she's all about you. She's doing all the things that you want her to do. You know, she's giving you sex whenever you want it. She's doing all the tricks you like. She's making you a sandwich. She's pretending to like football and sports and watching them with you. All those things, right?
Right.
You know, not nagging you. And then once you get married, you know, 'cause she wants that ring. Her main goal is to get the ring and secure the relationship. And what women want, security, right?
Right.
Once there's that security, it's almost like it changes overnight. Okay? You know, now she has what she wants. She's nothing else to work forward to. And now you start seeing her change. Less and less sex, if it's not cut off right away.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she's all of a sudden frustrated, or the fact that you're watching the game or whatever. You know, she's nagging you constantly, you know, talking down to you a little bit. You know, things that she would never do when she was, you know, focused on getting what she wanted or trying to get what she wanted, right? So that is the power shift that we're talking about. Feel free to go ahead and, you know,
Well,
jump
you know,
in.
we always say girlfriends are better than wives. Because girlfriends are working towards something, wives have already got it.
Right.
Everything you just said. When I got married, and you know, I always use myself. When I first got married, it was like the day of the wedding. I felt it.
The day of the wedding.
You know, it's like you. Sometimes when you walk in and all of a sudden something hits you, and you just know that things have changed in your mind and spirit.
Got you.
Felt it, and it played out the way I thought it would play out for the next 14 years. You know, because you can't. What exactly can you make your wife do? What exactly? You can complain, walk around the house moaning, but you can't really make her do nothing.
And that's a huge. That is a huge big fact right there.
Yeah, and the only power you actually have is get out of my house. Don't, you know what I'm saying? If I'm break up with you, you know, bounce, y'all, to get up out of here. But when you take that off the table, now you be having the enemy sleeping under your roof.
You're right.
And when she do leave, because you got married, she got a 12 gauge to put to your head. So now, in addition to her not really listening to what you say, she can actually wreck your life on the way out the door.
Half.
And this ain't even got. And this is before you have children.
Facts.
Oh, alimony. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean alimony, 401k. Even if you don't have children, she can do damage. You add children to the mix, bruh.
Exponentially gets worse.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
once again, I would just to finish this off of my opinion, if a woman proposes to me for whatever reason, I need you to do two things, because I don't need a $5,000 ring or nothing like that. I need a prenuptial agreement where you can't self-detonate my life when you decide to leave. Because if I marry you, I'm accepting the fact that you can blow my life up, and that's why most men aren't getting married in the first place.
True.
So agree to not blow my life up, and we can do it.
You know, perfect. You know, I'm with you 1,000% because first thing I thought about when you guys told me what the subject was going to be was my answer was going to be no. You know what I mean? I'm not doing it again. However, now that you mentioned the prenup or whatnot, I would be possibly open to doing it again with the right safeguards in place, right?
Exactly.
But you can't safeguard them kids. snip, I guess.
Hey, listen, they also even add on the whole topic, and I had this conversation multiple times with ladies, and the question I asked them, or they get mad when I say this, I said, I'm teaching my son not to get married. And they're like, why? I said, because there's no benefit for the man to be married. And then I asked multiple women this question. I said, tell me, so what is the benefit of me marrying you? What's the benefit? And the one thing I can get out of it is like, well, if something happened to you in life or death situation, I can make that call. So it's going to take to me to be fucked up for it to be a benefit for me and you being married. Right. So I got to be in my deathbed, like, okay, you know what? Take them off. Keep them on.
At that point, it might not matter.
And my point is that at that point, I don't care. If you're going to make a decision when I'm damn near jacked up, I don't care.
Right.
So once again, I ask a question, and the ladies hate when I say it. I'm like, no, I'm not. I really don't see a benefit. I'm not saying you can't be with a woman. I'm saying make that full commitment. What's the benefit? Sell me the benefit. Tell me, what is the benefit for the man to marry a woman?
Yeah, now, I will say, if everything's perfect, there are some benefits.
Go ahead.
Everything is perfect. Like, you got the live-in, cooch or whatever. You know what I mean? She cooking for you, things like that. If you got the perfect wife. But the reality is...
Go ahead.
That is so few and far in between. You know what I mean? And the risk is so great. And there are so many losses that we take. Because a lot of times you never know that she's the wrong one. Sometimes you miss the signs. You're not, you just look over them because you're all in love or in love with the cooch or whatever the case may be. But sometimes some women are really good at hiding who they are until they get what they want. And the loss, like sometimes with the, they say that it takes a man on average 10 years to recover from a divorce.
Preaching.
Yo, that's crazy. The only benefit that I see, well, I don't really see much of a benefit. Everybody benefits but the man, in my opinion, in most cases.
Facts.
The woman benefits, she's got the security.
Facts.
She's going to come up, even if she comes out of it, and be in a better situation than he found her in usually. Not always, but usually, right? When you go through the divorce, if you get lawyers, the lawyers are benefiting. They will drag back and forth, throw mud back and forth because they're getting paid. The state's getting paid. Look, for me, you're better off as a man in a situation where you've got someone that you're dating seriously for life. And if she loves you, y'all can maintain that for life. But that little piece of paper, it will cost you a lot of money.
And when you say a little piece of paper, ladies and gentlemen, or fellas, when we say that little piece of paper, it's complete. It is one piece of paper. This says your name, her name, married in this state. That's all it is.
A contract.
One little piece of paper. Mind you, when you buy a car, you gotta sign about 14 pages to get a car. I bought a house. When you buy a house, Quest Boogie bought a house. When you buy a house, you have to probably sign over 100 papers with your signature on it. And that's 30 years. Most marriages don't make it past 5 years. So you have to sign this 90-page plus mortgage that you're going document that you're going to agree to pay back this money over the next 30 years or 15 years, depending on your mortgage. Still, 15, 30, once again, it's still longer than most marriages don't last for 5 years, right? So with that being said, that one piece of paper costs you more than a car note and a mortgage put together. It's a fact. So once again, and the woman would say, well, if you made before, do it again. See, ladies, you have to understand this. Men at a young age are programmed that you must be provide, protect, lead, all that good stuff. If you don't work, you don't eat.
Right.
So men are technically, yes, we'll go out there and work them hard jobs, make the overtime, work overtime, do X, Y, Z to make us money. So now we're in our late 30s and 40s, and we're making really good money. I mean, great money, right? And at this point now we may be in a relationship or married or not, and for some reason, the person would wake up one day like, you know what? I don't feel good. I'm not happy no more. She can leave and take everything. I said to my wife, I said, baby, you can wake up any minute now and just say, you know what? I'm not happy anymore. The love ain't there, and you can just take half, just like that, with no accountability.
More than half, really.
Cash out. So once again, as I tell, I'm gonna raise my son, or I tell any young man that I run across, there's no real benefit of being married. And if you say married because you love someone, that's probably the worst reason. Get a dog. You know why? Because dogs love you unconditionally. You can whoop that dog's ass right now. But if let a stranger come knocking your door, he right next to you, ready to jump on whoever comes to that door. That dog has unconditional love. Marriages, women don't have unconditional love. For their kids, yes. For their husband or boyfriend, no, they don't.
But if you do decide to get married, right?
Uh-oh.
You know, my dad used to always tell me, and I was stupid and didn't listen, don't consider marriage until after you're 40.
That's
The reason he would say that you can have kids long after she will be able to.
facts.
Number one, you've become established, you've gotten your life together, you're a lot wiser. And then just get you a young woman. She's still gonna want security, she's a lot younger than you. Mentally, you're far ahead of her. You've done all the screwing you probably want to do, and you're ready to settle down. Now, you still can provide her that security, but by this time in your life, you're established, you've attained a lot of the things that you want to attain. And not only that, mentally, you're further ahead of her, so it shouldn't be an issue with you getting her to sign a prenup, or pretty much your assets that you have, you're earning over your life and working over your life are yours. So if she does decide to leave, a lot of that stuff she can't touch. You got a lot of guys. Actually, I've got a cousin who's talking about getting married to this woman. Right? He's young, good looking, and she's pressing him. He's in love with the fact that she squirts. Right? So, right. So, I'm like, dude, trust me. Don't do it. Number one, he can tell she's already erratic in her behavior, possibly bipolar, right? Now, why would you do that to yourself? Continue to date her as long as you want to date her. Right now, there's no risk. You're still in control, right?
Right.
The moment you marry her, life is going to change drastically for you.
Instantly, possibly.
Right. I implored him, don't do it, but young people, you can't tell them anything, So he may take heed to the advice, he may not. But I told him from experience, trust me, you don't want to do it. There's no benefit to you. You might appease her right now, but trust me, you're putting yourself, pretty much, you're going to set yourself up for a lifetime of misery.
And it can be a lifetime.
Right.
Here's the problem. Here's the problem with what you just said. You said that she does something interesting sexually.
Right.
Where did she learn how to do that?
Somebody else. Right.
You didn't just wake up that morning. So something pushed you to that edge. If she knew how to do that before she met him, you would be a fool to marry her, bruh.
Belong to the streets.
Yeah, because the best indicator of future action is past action. If she's been out there long enough to learn X, Y, Z to do certain things that you find interesting, and you didn't teach that to her, well, eventually she's gonna go back to school because they almost always go back to school in my opinion.
Listen, see, and this might be another topic. Like, a lot of women don't understand the whole concept or meaning behind pair bonding. They just don't understand that part. And the reason why I said that, because a woman who's been exposed to a lot of things in life, with multiple men, whatever, all these X, Y, Z, then they get into these marriages, and a lot of women not honest with themselves. Well, they get married because they want that safety net, stability, all the good stuff. And whatever the guy may lack, it's like, oh, he does this, so I'll weigh this better. You know what I'm saying? I take the good versus the bad, right? But then when it's like 6 years in the marriage, you're unhappy because he can't do all those things that you've been experienced to prior to him. He probably could do some things, but he can't do them like the one person in your head. Meaning, I asked the girl a question. I said, right now, you could, in your head, I can say certain things. You can think of a certain guy of a certain situation. A guy with the big D. The guy who lasts the longest. A guy who's the quickest. The guy who gave you multiple orgasms. But and who could eat the cat really good. And she sat there like, you're right. She has a different guy for everything I just quoted, right? So that's what I'm saying, pair bond. So now you with your husband, and he may be doing those things, but he ain't not got the part like old boy over here did. Now that she's not being sexually fulfilled, and after so long, she get tired of that, and then because she's not fully pair bond to her husband. So that's what I'm saying. So the whole thing that he's talking about, oh, because she can squirt, okay, cool, but who taught her that? Right. That's not something that you wake up, everybody, like, yes. It's not something you just wake up one day, oh my gosh, am I peeing on people? That's real. So she had to been taught, and it was by more than one person who taught her. I'll leave it at that. But that's what the whole pair bond thing is thrown out the window. But I mean, like I said, that's a whole nother topic we'll go into. But that body count, it need to be low. And I don't want to hear, well, men do it too. See, men and women are not the same. We had this conversation multiple times, plenty times.
Yep.
You can't do what I do. Simple as that.
Well, no, wait. You can do what I do, but the results are going to be different.
Far different.
There we go.
So
thank you.
We physically, you are human. You can have as many sexual partners as you want, but what happens in your mind is different than what happens in my mind.
And also,
that's the problem.
Right, and also I want to go back to what Quest said earlier, and that's really good knowledge. So 3 things my dad told me when I get older and start running these streets. He said, 1, don't mess with your credit. 2, don't mess with no woman who already got kids. Start your own family.
Oh, we should talk.
And then 3, hold on, and then 3, he said, wait till your 30s to start a family. Now, I wish he would have said 40, because 40 makes more sense now after your dad explained it. Like, at the age of 40, you're definitely well in your career. You're more mentally mature for real at that point. Like, you know exactly what you want. And you can get someone, at that point, you're well off. You can pick and choose who you be with. As far as I can with a young girl, my age, whatever, but I have that power at that point. Plus, I'm 40, and the mindset's totally different.
Right.
That's very important. Go ahead, Seth. I do want to say something.
Well, I want to argue on that part.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Because what you said makes sense, except for the wait till you get 30 or 40 to get married and have kids. Here's the problem with that. When child support really started, it wasn't it was new. It wasn't based on just cashing out and taking the money. It was supposed to help raise your kids. But now, with marriages only lasting 5 years on average, if she gets you on child support, let's say you're 22 years old working at In-N-Out Burger, you making $10 an hour, that child support is not going to break you off.
Right.
But wait till you get to your 40s and you have a baby with a 22-year-old, but your salary is kicking $100K. That's a lot different child support than In-N-Out Burger salary. So At this point, real talk, I told my son, I'm like, yo, get a girl pregnant in high school so that by the time you're 33, 34, your kids to be 18 years old before you really hit your stride as a man, and you'll have your kids, but you won't have broke your back paying child support. Because I'm just gonna end this. Giving somebody $200 a month for child support versus $1,500 a month, that changed the way you think about everything.
I agree with that to some degree. For me, though,
I know it's wrong at heart, but still.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Obviously, it's more affordable, especially looking back on it, this age. However, when you got a young person, they're in the
Uh-huh.
they're at the point where they're trying to find themselves and they're trying to, set themselves up for the future, right? Whether it be a career or work towards whatever they're working towards. With a kid or throwing a kid in there when they're young, it could derail where they should be. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because they're now forced to be more
They're
of a
forced to actually make a living now, whereas if it was just them, they may not have to work this job or work these two jobs and go to school or whatever it is.
right, chase their career or dream.
Chase their dreams or whatever the case may be. So it might derail them and set them on a path to where they're stuck working at In-N-Out Burger for the rest of their lives. You know what I mean? Because they couldn't do what they needed to do when they were younger because they did have a kid prematurely. So I get what you're saying. I mean, not all the time, because obviously you got some people, single mothers do it all the time where they got family to help support them, and then they go on and become a nurse or go to nursing school and they make it. And then they're the women in the clubs at 40 years old that have adult kids. You know what I mean? So it definitely happens.
They at the club with their children.
With their children, right? I had a kid young. I didn't get a chance to live my life. Now I'm living my life. I get it. But, if you're 40, 50 and you're well off and you set yourself up properly, at that point you should, not to say that every man would be set up properly and, they may not be able to afford the child support at that point, but you should be in a more stable position to where you can still weather that storm, because you have more resources. But we all know that there's always an exception, right? Nothing's, but.
Well, see, here's my argument. Not argument. This isn't an argument because we agree. I'm kind of joking about having kids early, personally. I'm kind of joking, but I think it's sad that as a man, women don't get this. We're not having a discussion about whether or not to have kids. Because if you have kids with the person who you expect to be with, this conversation wouldn't even come up, right?
Right.
But women leave in relationships at 83% of the time. And this is girlfriend, boyfriend, and marriage. Women pack up and bounce. They cash out. And it's unsafe. Men are so unsafe in being in a relationship that we have to think of crazy tactics to simply financially survive being in a relationship with a woman.
You got to be strategic.
And the moment children enter the picture, we have to start doing a whole different calculation. So I'm joking, but it's sad because you can't tell me I'm wrong. You're just trying to figure out how to make it, how to work with a messed up situation. See what I'm saying?
Listen. I had this conversation before. Honestly, if I can really go back and do it over, having kids at young age don't really sound like a bad idea.
I mean, if I knew then what I know now.
You know what I'm saying? It really, I mean, like you said, it's not right. But once again, like Seth said, I mean, for the man, it's not really safe out here for us. So if you do want to have kids, you want to leave a legacy, I just say it might be smart for you to do it young. Why? It's a whole village there that's going to help raise that child at the same time. So when you get to the 40s, like we're in our 40s now, we carefree. We can go do what we want. Now, apparently, I did it the right way because I waited till I was 30 to have my kid.
Me too. I'm with you.
So I guess, it's like, I surrounded the people in high school who had kids. Like, really? You got kids now? But now I'm looking like, dang, their kid now just graduating college right now. They're going to college graduation. I'm still going to third grade graduation. I'm like, damn, maybe they knew something that I didn't know.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be 49 when I finish paying child support. I'm 49 years old.
And the thing is this, even though we're talking about and laugh about it, but ladies, this is the situation you put a man in where, that's why you have men our age is telling young fellas, hey, man, if you have a child, man, you might want to do it early. Trust me. Or don't get married at all. Because there's really no benefit.
I mean, think about this. I heard the word snip come up earlier in the conversation, right?
Right.
Yes, you did.
Think about the fact that getting a vasectomy is a valid, it ain't just valid, I'm sorry, a very, very reasonable thing to do for a 20-year-old male. That doesn't make it, who ever heard of a vasectomy in your 20s?
Shoot, no one I know. I'm like,
Yeah,
if I could have get one then, shoot, I'd have had it back then.
Right.
But you know what? But when you do go get it done, the doctor will ask you why, and you have to meet a certain criteria. You just can't do it. They want you to have kids. So it's funny, like as you in your 20s, right? You know for a fact, I do not want kids. I don't. I hate kids. Whatever. Not saying I hate kids, but there's people out there who know they don't want kids. They don't care about their legacy. They don't care about none of that. I want to live my life the best way I can. And guess what? When they go and twins try to have kids, unless if they don't get a valid reason, the doctor won't do it. You have to be in your 30s with a valid reason. So when I have mine, it's like, so why are you getting it done? I said, I got 2 kids and can't afford anymore. He said, you know what? That's a good reason. Simple. Like I can't afford no more. But if I was in my 20s talking about I don't want no kids, we can't do it because you may change your mind.
Right.
So the whole premise of they talking about my body, my choice. No, man, we don't even get that choice. It has to be by for real. It has to be a certain stipulation to where we can do ours. So.
Well, you know what? They do that to women too. Just the level set. They can if a woman wanted her tubes tied early, most doctors won't let a woman have her tubes tied if she's never had children.
Well, no, I get that, but I'm saying that women have more opportunities or more things they can do with their body versus what we can do. We can't do nothing. You understand what I'm saying? So even though she can't get her tubes tied, she still can not have kids. So if she gets pregnant, she has a choice to get rid of it and XYZ, Plan B, whatever else.
Right.
So I'm saying they have all those options over there. We got no options besides but to come on. Right, we had their mercy. You understand what I'm saying? Except with our child. So that's what I mean by that part where is that my choice, my body, we don't get an option.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. No, all right, you know what? I think we off topic, so let's do this, right? You want to wrap up the women proposing? Not even start a new stream. We just going to start a whole new combo.
Yeah.
And you can break this up later.
Chop it up.
Yeah, but I would say once again, just closing thoughts on women proposing is if you're going to propose, I don't need a $5,000 ring. I need a prenuptial agreement.
Gotcha.
And it really has to be comprehensive. So if you propose to me, I expect you to stay. And if you leave, I want you not to get cash and prizes if you leave. If you can agree to that, I'm in.
Okay.
All right, so do you want to say before we close this one out?
I'm going to have to echo that. More than likely, my answer is going to be no. But in order for that answer to be yes, a prenup is a pretty good bargaining chip. I might agree to it in that respect. Otherwise, I mean, you can just mack until it falls off.
And you know what? I kind of third that. It makes sense. Like every man should get one done, even if you don't have nothing, because you don't know what the future may be. You may work hard. There might be a lot of sacrifices that you do while you're in the marriage that won't get overlooked. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm saying that might be a good idea. Because on top of that, if most women know that if they leave, the possibility to leave with nothing, they will more likely stay. I had this conversation. If there was no end prize or end goal for leaving your husband, there wouldn't be no 80% women leaving a man. Wouldn't be that. And it's crazy because, this woman, these ladies in this era are more educated than a woman back in the 70s and 80s who might have had a 6th grade education, but they stuck their husband through thin and hell or whatever.
Right.
So what's the difference?
Exactly.
So yes, so we're gonna chop this one up real quick. I'm gonna stop it and we'll start a brand new one. All right?
It's up to you, bro. Because you can, yeah.
As far as A and Y, I'm gonna stop it and do a new one. Okay, real quick. Just give me 1 second. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. All right, cool. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in. This is the Chop Team with the guest Quest Boogie here, and you're gonna be for the next topic. Once again, we're on all platforms, Apple, Spotify, iHeart, whatever, the major ones, all of them, of course. Tune in, but if you want to be on the live show, we record every Sunday at 3 p.m.-ish. Black folks, Eastern time, you know how we are sometimes. But this is the Chop Team. Follow us on IG, YouTube, Twitter, across the board, same name. We out.
See.